Shalom, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Yahweh Sabah. I want to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning and teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity, waiting on the second coming of our Lord Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Shalom. Yeah, salvation is nearer than we believed. Yahweh Radazah, we have that number. Another day on the highways and byways, prophesying the downfall of this wicked kingdom, ruled by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. God, today we're gonna go over resurrection of the dead. One of the principles in Hebrews chapter 6. You gotta move on. You gotta set the foundation. Go through the principles of Yahweh Shai. Have that foundation so it can't be moved. And you gotta believe on resurrection of the dead, because a lot of brothers, not all, but some will die for this truth, through the guillotine. They will be beheaded. You got to have faith that you will be resurrected from the dead. This is started off with the Psalms. This book of Psalms, chapter 107, verse 20. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destructions. Yeah, so the only way you're going to get delivered from your destruction is through this word. Yahweh Shai is the word. The word came flesh, as it says in John chapter 1. Yahweh Shai was on this earth in flesh. And now through the word, we speak the word through the Holy Ghost. That was given to us through Yahweh Shai, the Comforter. So we preach this word, which Yahweh Shai is the word. That's 144. Yahweh Radazah, we have that number. That's the spirit. That I just saw a license plate, 144. And Khan, Yahweh Shai is the word, man. So we are preaching this word unto you, trying to fish out the elect, man. We're fishers of men right now. And then Yahweh Radazah, we become hunters of men when we're of that number. And that's what we're looking to be. To be the ones that were chosen from the foundation of the earth, those first fruit spirits, Come, we want to do this in truth and sincerity, man. That's what this is all about. You could get that. Bear with me. I'm gonna get that. This one in Colossians too, if I can find it. And then we're going to get into that resurrection of the dead. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Like Yahweh Shai said, man. Time's running out. Wake up. House of Israel, man. Come on, this is because we're sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He gave his word, his statutes to Jacob, like I was saying in Psalms 147 and 19, man. It's for in Joel, it said for Israel and none else. In Joel chapter 2, like I brought out in my last blog lesson. Salakia. Sneeze real quick. Oh no, I got it. Alright, this is Alright, come on. This is Colossians chapter 3 and verse. I'm gonna start at verse 12. Put on therefore as the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering. Yeah, that's what we need to put on, the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. We're trying to make our calling and election sure in these last days. You got to be in the fruits of the spirit. Many are called, few are chosen. This ain't for everybody. Too much is given, more is required. More is required. And you gotta those who have rule over you, roughly paraphrasing, you got to obey them. Roughly paraphrasing in Hebrews chapter 13. So too much is given, much is required. So yeah, once you have this knowledge, you got to go teach it, man. You got to go to the highways and byways and do your due diligence. It's our reasonable service to put our bodies out here as a living sacrifice. So come on. That's why when we put our bodies out here as a living sacrifice, we do that knowing that if we die for this truth, we will be risen up through Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. As it says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, he will raise us up. You know? The resurrection of the dead, man. So, Khan, you know, we got to put on the elect Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, fruits of the Spirit, you know, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, and long-suffering. You know, long-suffering, that patience, man. We got that patience of the saints, you know. So and the saints are Israelites, you know. Khan, according to the book of Psalms, chapter 148 and verse 14, you know. So we are the saints, Yahweh Radazah. You know, we don't know if we're going to make it. We don't know if we're of that number. We're just trying to make our calling and election sure, because there's things that you can do to make your calling and election sure. Like how Peter said, the keys to the kingdom, man. You know? And as well, we know Peter got the keys as well from Yahweh Shai in Matthew chapter 16. You know? So Khan, you know, that's why we are, it's a labor of love. And we got to let the brotherly love continue. We got to keep showing love till the end. You know, but if you put up those offenses, the scandalonious, the scandalons, you know how it says in the when you look into that in the blue letter, what that really truly means, it's a stumbling block. You're putting a stumbling block before a brother, and you get put out for those. You know. So verse 13, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel, forgave you also, so also do ye. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. We want to put on that bond of charity, man. That's that love. You know, that's the bond of perfectness. You know, that's how you move on to perfection. You know, like I said, you start with the principles and you stay and abound in that love, man. You know, you forbear one another. This is different from offenses. You don't forgive someone if they're going to put offenses. And also if a heretic, after he does the second heretic, reject, as it says in the book of Titus, man. You know, so Khan, this is all part of the ministry. You know, heresy's got to come in so you know what the true or false doctrine is. You know, because that light is going to be manifest, like how it says in the book of Ephesians chapter 5. You know, and Yahweh Shai said as well, the light will be revealed. Anything hidden will be revealed. You know, so Khan. Yeah, the charity covers the multitude of sins, as Peter said. You know, so Khan, verse 15, and let the peace of Yahweh Shem Yahushai rule in your hearts, you know, to which also ye are called in one body, that be ye thankful. Yeah, so we got to be thankful, you know, and you know, have that peace of Yahweh Shem Yahushai in our mind, you know. So Khan, you know, because we are called into one body. We got to be thankful to Yahweh Shem Yahushai to be in this body, to have the truth, to be able to learn from the elders, and to be able to push it to others. Because this is what it's all about, you know, trying to fish out the elect. Once the 144,000 are sealed, then Yahweh Shai is coming, man. Then all this, you know, Jacob's trouble, it will all be, all prophecy will be manifest to Yahweh Shai coming, is what I'm getting at. God. Because we still got two prophecies that we're waiting on. The Mark of the Beast and, you know, World War III, which, you know, MOT to the B, you know, which will lead into a crisis will happen, you know, a power outage to bring into that system, which will lead into Jacob's trouble. Khan. So we're waiting on those prophecies. Khan. Verse 15. Let the peace of y'all, 16. Let the word of Amashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns, in spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. Yeah, and right now we're singing that song, you know, the gospel. You know, we're preaching it onto you, like I says in Revelation chapter 14, that new song, that gospel. We're preaching it onto you, hoping that the elect will hear Yahweh Radazah and repent and come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Seek Yahweh Shem Yahushai while he may be found. Because, you know, time's going to run out. We're not going to be out here teaching forever. You know, that's why the time will be shortened for the elect's sake. You know, and also it says that in 2 Esdras chapter 2. you know. So time's being shortened for the elect's sake. So we gotta redeem the time, because we know the times are evil, you know. God. So verse 17, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do in all the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to God and Father by Him. You know, you want to give thanks to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, you know, in everything we do, in deed and in word and in deed. You know, that's going into our action. We got to give thanks to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So whatever we do, you know, because you know, like how it says in 1 John, you know, we love in deed and in truth, you know, because we love by our actions. And like it says in Romans 13, no ill will toward his brother, roughly paraphrasing. So something that we wouldn't do to our brother or to ourselves, we wouldn't do to them. You know, it's the law of the prophets to treat others how you want to be treated. You know, do unto the others how they do unto you, for this is the law of the prophets. You know, so come on. This is how you know if you're truly a prophet. If you're gonna love your neighbor as thyself, as Yahweh Shai said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Come on, we continue on. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Yeah, con. So yeah, it's getting into like the wives. They got to submit to the husband, man. You know, we went into this, you know, in my last lesson. You know, getting into the woman. You know, it goes into it in Ephesians 5 as well. The women have to be submissive to the man. You know, it's part of the order in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. You know, and husbands, love your wives. You know, con. Yeah, because we know that's a different type of love. Con. That's why you got to get into the Hebrew. You know, like I was saying. You know, con. Yeah, children got to obey their parents. You know, that's why it's Proverbs 22:6. Train up thy children. You know, his children have to be taught this word, or else they're not going to be able to make it into the kingdom. You know, because they got to learn. They got to learn it. Because they'll know. Because once you get to a certain age, as a child, you get that discernment to know good from evil. So then it comes to no excuses, you know? You don't want to provoke your children to anger, because that could discourage them. Con, let's get into this resurrection of the dead now, you know? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15 from the top. Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye believe in vain. So yeah, unless you believe in vain. That's why you want to stand firm in this and don't believe in vain. You know? So come. For I delivered unto you first of all that I also received, how a Mashiach died for our sins according to the scriptures, and that he was buried and he rose again the third day according to the scriptures. Yeah, so that's he rose again. That's resurrection of the dead, you know. So we got to believe Yahweh Shai rose from the dead on the third day as well. To believe for us to be risen back up if we die in the name of Yahweh Shai. You know, that's why we get baptized in His name, and that ties into the baptism, because you have to believe that He rose on the third day. You know, and it goes into the Hebrews chapter 6 as well, the resurrection of the dead. You know. You have to have faith in that, because the just shall live by faith, you know, and that's what the just are going to do in these last days and unto the end. So come on, let's get that Genesis chapter 22. This is Genesis chapter 22. We start at verse 14. And Abraham called the name of the place Jehovah Jireh, and said, Slakia, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahweh it shall be seen. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, by myself have I sworn, Yahweh, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thy seed, as the stars of the heaven, as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. So yeah, Khan, this is getting into like Abraham. He had to offer up his son as a sacrifice. I went into this into the reincarnation lesson that I did. Solomon is Yahweh Shai, Psalm 72. Yahweh Radazal, you check that out. I went into more of a Melchizedek as well. But this is getting into like the resurrection of the dead, because when he was giving up his son, he understood the principles of Hebrews chapter 6, that his son would be resurrected from the dead, because he would bring his son back to life, and that's why you got to stay on these principles, because this is all tied to the principles, and that's why you got to have that foundation in Yahweh Shai, so it doesn't be moved, because it's going to be built upon a rock that won't be moved, man. That foundation will be built upon that rock. God, we know Yahweh Shai is the chief cornerstone. God. So Khan, yeah, like, because it's just like building a house, it has a foundation, and that's how the house doesn't get moved. That's how it doesn't fall. So same way with these principles and the foundation that we have to stay on of Yahweh Shai. So Khan, yeah, that verse 17, that's what that's ultimately what, going into what was quoted. I'll read verse 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Yeah, and that was quoted in the book of Acts chapter 3 as well. So that's this is from the old to the new. That Abraham showing you he believed in resurrection of the dead, that he knew his son would be resurrected from the dead when he offered him up. But we know the angel stopped him from doing it because he proved his faith in works. So this is this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, start at verse 17. But now they desire a better country, that is in heavenly, wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared them a city. Yeah, and that this ain't our rest, How about Shem Yahweh Shai? He prepared us a city, a continuing city, the kingdom. I could back that up with Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 14. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Yeah, we have no continuing city here, man. And Micah 2:10 says this is not your rest. Arise, ye, depart, for this place is polluted and corrupted, roughly paraphrasing. And it said this is not our rest. Arise, ye, depart, because this is not our rest. Because we seek one to come, that continuing city, man. Which is going to be the kingdom. That's why we desire a kingdom that dwelleth in righteousness, as it says in the book of Peter. We're seeking that one to come. So Khan, yeah, like that's why it's getting into that. It's just because we desire a better country. That's what it's getting into. That better country is going to be the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. The Lord's Prayer, Matthew chapter 6. So, Khan. So verse 17, Hebrews 11, verse 17. But faith, it's like by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. Yeah, so by faith, Abraham offered up his son. He was tried, like gold is tried in the fire, part of the baptism of fire. Just like how Abraham was tried, so are we. We're going through these trials as well. You know, that's the spirit 444. That's mercy right there. That's what we're trying to get through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Seen it on the license plate. You know, that's what we're waiting for, is that mercy through Yahweh Shai. You know, and that's why we got to have faith. That's all spiritual right there. You know? So, So that's how he received the promises, you know, by offering up his only begotten son. You know? So, Verse 18, of whom it was said that in Isaac thy seed shall be called. So yeah, that in thy seed Isaac shall be called. You know, that's how you know that this being an Israelite goes through the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through the seed. You know, that's how you know if you're an Israelite. And we look by faith. We don't look by the outward appearance. Like Yahweh Shai said, judge not according to the outward appearance. But a lot of people of Israel do that. So verse 18, of whom verse 19, accounting that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So you can't. Yeah, like that's what it's getting into, to raise him up from the dead. You know, he believed in that. You know, that he believed in that resurrection of the dead. Abraham did, and that shows you that he believed into Hebrews chapter 6, man. This is from the old to the new, showing you that he believed in the resurrection of the dead. And that's from the old to the new, getting into it, man. You know, so because that's how you know. That's how you know resurrection of the dead. It's no joke, because it's in the principles. And Abraham believed in it from the old to the new. That's a perfect example from the old to the new. That he understood the resurrection of the dead. He understood Hebrews chapter 6. Which I'm going to get into as well as that in 2 Maccabees chapter 7. You know, Eleazar and the mother and the 7 brethren, they understood in resurrection of the dead as well. Yahweh Radazah, I can get into that. So this is a 2nd Esdras chapter 2. And yeah, 2nd Esdras chapter 2. I'll start at 13 because this is what I paraphrased about the days being shortened for the elect's sake. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 2, verse 13. Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. And that's why we're watching, being vigilant, you know, being circumspect, you know, measuring the time diligently. You know, like, you know, that's going into what Yahweh Shai said. For the days, it shall be shortened for the elect's sake. If not, no flesh shall be saved. And that's why we see that we know that Yahweh Shai is near, man. Because if he saw continue this system, the New World Order system, no flesh would be saved, man. And that's why we pray for the days to be shortened for the elect's sake, man. You know? And this is getting into it right now. This verse 13, that's what it's saying, you know? Pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. You know? The kingdom is already prepared for you, you know? Like John 14. He said, I prepared a kingdom for you. You know, I have a place for you. Fear not, little flock. It is your Father's desire to give you a kingdom. Roughly paraphrasing these precepts. You know, verse 14. Take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces and created the good, for I live, saith the Lord. Yeah, so yeah, like it's the evil are going to be broken in pieces. You know, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and you know, going according to Obadiah 1:18, after he serves in slavery, you know, and also these other nations, man, they will be destroyed, and the ones left over will go into slavery. Those elites, you know, and also going into the 2/3, they're going to be destroyed as well. And you're not coming back into the kingdom as a baby. You know that this resurrection of the dead destroys that doctrine as well. Yeah, because of all not of Israel are of Israel, you know, as the scriptures say, so that all Israel, that's the elect. So verse 15, mother, embrace thy children and bring them up with gladness. Make their feet as fast as a pillar, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. Verse 16, and those that be dead I will raise up again from their places, and I will bring them out of the graves, for I have known my name in Israel. Yeah, and that's the principles right there, you know. That's getting into it, man. You know, that Hebrews chapter 6, resurrection of the dead. That's what that's getting into, man. You know, Paul, he let's get that. This is Acts chapter 21 and verse 13. Then Paul answered, what mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but to also die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord Yahushua. And when he would not be persuaded, we cease, saying, the will of the Lord be done. Yet so Paul, we knew Paul believed in the resurrection of the dead, because that's what he was preaching, you know. So he knew if he died, you know, he was ready to die in the Lord in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. He was ready to die in the name of the Lord Yahushua, to be able to be able to feel, to be able to go through that resurrection of the dead. Because if we're willing to die for the Lord Yahushua, we're willing, Yahweh Razal, we have that number to be risen up. We have to believe in that, you know. And yeah, like also as well, you know, like how the you know, the Sadducees, you know, and Pharisees, they didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead, you know. We know in Acts chapter 17 they mocked at it, you know, but yeah, like they didn't want to neither eat or drink until they had killed Paul, man. You know, that's how bad they didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead, or believe in the true doctrine that Paul was preaching. They didn't want to. They were going to fast until they were able to kill Paul. But we know that that it was Governor Felix. You know, he was able to save him from that, because he knew he was a Roman citizen. But I just want to get this Acts chapter 23 and verse 8. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but but the Pharisees confess both. Yes, so the Pharisees, the Pharisees did believe in it. I mean, but it was the Sadducees, you know, and those were the ones that they were saying, you know, the Jews got together and say, we will neither fast, we will not eat nothing, we will fast until we have killed Paul. And like I said, the Governor Felix, you know, he saved them from that. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, the Sadducees, they didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead, man. You know, in neither angel nor spirit. But the Pharisees, they confessed both. You know, another account in Acts chapter 4. Acts chapter 4 from the top. And as they spake unto the people and priests and the captain of the temple, and the Sadducees came upon them, being grieved that they taught the people, preached through Yahushua the resurrection of the dead. Yeah, that's why the Sadducees were grieved, because like I said, the Sadducees didn't believe. But like in that Acts 23, the Pharisees did confess both, so they did believe. You know, but it was the Sadducees who were grieved that Peter and John in Acts 4, that they taught the people, you know, preached to Yahushua the resurrection from the dead. You know, in verse 3, and they laid hands on them and put them in hold until the next day, for it was now eventide. Verse 4, and howbeit many of them which heard the word believed, and the number of the men was about 5,000. So we see men believed, about 5,000. But like that verse 3, they got they got imprisoned for this, man. So that's why we got to stay strong in the faith and stand firm on this word and be brave and be unmovable. Because they were being persecuted, and they weren't moved. They weren't moved by it. And us, when persecution of the saints will happen, we can't be moved by this. We got to have our faith in Yahweh Shai and stand firm in it. Strive for the truth unto the death, and Yahweh Shai will fight for thee. So they went to jail for this, and we're doing the same thing. We would go to jail for this as well. Because if they wanted to kill or lock us up for this, they would, man. And how it says in Galatians 4:16, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And that's what we become, the 2/3 enemy, and all these false prophets enemy, and Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and Psalms 83 are enemies. They are our enemies because we tell them the truth. We're speaking this gospel unto existence. That's why we preach this word, because we're preaching Yahweh Shai's return unto existence. Sealing the elect, Yahweh Radazah, prophesy to the wind, making our calling and election sure, fulfilling our lot. Come. That's why this word has to be preached onto the four corners of the earth, and then the end shall come, as the scriptures say, So we got those examples, Now I'm going to get this one in 2nd Ezra chapter 14. But before I get that one, let me get this Acts chapter 24. Well, first let's get John 5, actually. Salaki. John 5, verse 25. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he had given to the Son to have life in himself. And he had given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, and they that have done good and unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. So I'll read verse 30. And I can of mine own self do nothing, as I hear I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father that sent me. So this is all the will of the Father, what Yahweh Shai did. So as for us too, is the will of the Father. People don't believe in the resurrection of the dead, but it's getting into it. That's that resurrection of the dead right there. That when Yahweh Shai, he'll have that power to do it through the Father. The resurrection of the dead. So some to the resurrection of life, and some to the resurrection of evil, unto the resurrection of damnation. So you would ultimately be cast into the lake of fire, which is known as Gehenna. Because all Israel won't be saved. That this is because they don't have faith. So they don't have faith in this doctrine. We did a lesson. We did a lesson on it with the brothers as well, and I did a lesson on it as well too. Because this is getting into the resurrection of the dead. Those souls ordained to die, and those souls ordained to have resurrection of life. Yeah, because like the scriptures say, the same words I speak unto you shall judge you in the last day. So if you don't believe in this red letter, that's going to be your condemnation. In every idle word, it will justify you or condemn you. Roughly paraphrasing. Come on. So we could line that up with Daniel. The book of Daniel. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1. And at that time Michael shall stand up, great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. Let's go into Jacob's trouble. Such as ever was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that be found written in the book. Yeah, written in the book of life. So if you're not written in the book of life, you're not going to make it into the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So 2/3 of our people are not going to make it into the kingdom. You're not coming back into the kingdom as a baby. Verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Yeah, that's what Yahushua quoted in John chapter 5. So that's what that's getting into. When we said some will come to everlasting life, if not, some to everlasting contempt, man. So come on. Man. Yeah, because that's what Yahushua quoted, like I said, and that's balance. Some are going to make it into the kingdom, and some are not. The elect, and the great multitude, they're going to make it into the kingdom, man. And the others aren't, man. Yeah, so that's what that John 5 was going into. That's what Yahushua quoted, like I was saying. So now let's get down to Acts. Yeah, like that everlasting contempt. Also, that we know that goes into Isaiah chapter 66. That abhorrence unto all flesh. Salakia, but that's why you got to use the blue letter, to be able to know that. But yeah, I'm gonna get that Acts, Salakia. This is Acts chapter 24. Acts chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the which they call heresy, so worship I God of my fathers, believing all things that are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be also, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. Yeah, so that's a balance, man. Not everybody's going to make it into the kingdom. The elect are going to make it, and the non-elect aren't going to make it, man, of Israel. 2/3 are going to be destroyed. So yeah, come on. That's what that's getting into, man. That resurrection of both sides, that's a balance, It's gone, like the other groups are deceiving you, not telling you the whole both sides. They're deceiving you by telling you one side of the story, Yeah, like we said, that like it's not talking about, you getting back into the kingdom, because like I said, you're gonna get that, you'll receive that judgment on earth, you're not getting back in as a baby. Because that's why they try to tell you that. They try to tell you that you're gonna be able to come back in, but that's false doctrine. That's what GMS pushes. Yeah, because like the scriptures say, that the second death, that's the Gehenna. Yeah, because we know that there's gonna be judgment on earth as well, but the second death is getting into Gehenna. Like how it says in Second Esdras. We went into that before. That's the lake of fire, Gehenna. So this is Isaiah chapter 26. I'm gonna start at 18. We have been with child, we have been in pain, we have been as it were brought forth wind. We have not wrought any deliverance in earth, neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Verse 19, thy dead men shall live, together with dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing ye that dwell in dust. For thy dew is as dew of herbs, and thy earth shall cast out the dead. So you can't, that's what that's getting into. That's our resurrection of the dead. Yeah, because we know that the dead men that believe in Yahweh Shai are going to be risen up. And those that don't believe are going to be receive judgment. They're going to be risen up into judgment. So the ones that believe in Yahweh Shai and follow this doctrine and endure to the end, they're going to be risen up to everlasting life. This lines up with that Daniel chapter 12 as well. That's why it says, thy dead man shall live, So this is 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. God, that's what that's getting into. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to judge the quick and the dead. That's that resurrection of the dead right there. This is another example of it being preached in Acts chapter. You can get that real quick. Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10, verse 42. Yeah, so this is when Peter was preaching it to Cornelius, and Cornelius, he was a Gentile, but he came out of the ways of being a Gentile, into that custom, he grew up in those customs, but he came out of it. He was doing the will of the Gentiles, but he came out of it, of the uncircumcision. So this was Peter preaching to Cornelius and those Gentiles. He was preaching Yahweh Shai to them. So let's start at verse 39. And we are witnesses of all things which he did both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, who they slew and hanged on a tree. Him, Yahweh, God raised up the third day and showed him openly the resurrection of the dead right there, raised up on the third day. not to all these, Salaki, not to all the people, but unto the witness chosen before of God, even to us who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is which he ordained of God to be the judge of the quick and the dead. Yes, Salaki, the judge of the quick and dead. Yes, so Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is the judge of quick and dead. You know, and this is going into when Cornelius, these Gentiles got baptized. You know, come on. Yeah, so I'm gonna get the next account. Con. Still going. Yeah, so this is Second Esdras, chapter 14, and I'm gonna start at verse 32. For as much he is a righteous judge, he took from you in time and thing he had given you, and now are ye here, and your brethren among you. Therefore, if so be ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, that ye shall be kept alive. After death ye shall obtain mercy. For after death shall the judgment come. When shall we live again? And when shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared? Let no man therefore come unto me now, nor seek after me these 40 days. So yeah, Khan, this is getting into that Daniel chapter 12 right now, right there. You know, this is that resurrection of the dead. You know, and this is what's going to happen, because because you can die and then you can be raised up for eternal judgment, man. You know, so ones who die right now, they could be raised up for eternal judgment. You know. Con. Alright, so yeah, that's going into that, because you know, like, that also line that up with that Hebrews. That's what that lines up to as well. You know, that lines up with Daniel chapter 12. But also we could get in that book of Hebrews. This is Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 27. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this is the judgment. Yeah, that's the eternal judgment. You know, that's what will happen after the resurrection of the dead. You know, because you'll be raised up for eternal judgment. You know, so Khan, you got to understand these principles to the resurrection of the dead. You know, Khan. So Khan, let's get that Second Esdras chapter 13. Second Esdras chapter 13. And I'm gonna start at 17. For they that were not left were in heaviness. You know, Khan. So this is a future prophecy. You know, we're suffering now, but through the trials and tribulations in the flesh, you know, prepare thy soul for temptation, as it says in Sirach chapter 2. You know, the baptism of fire, but it's only gonna get more intense. You know, in the time of Jacob's trouble. This is that future prophecy of that. Verse 18. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. So yeah, Khan, those that are left behind, that's what it's getting into in that time. What's gonna happen unto them? So verse 19, therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen, like we see people have dreams of that as well, of the end times. And it's not gonna be an easy time for Jake, it's gonna be trials and tribulations, what they're gonna be going through in that time. And verse 20, yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. He answered unto me and said. So he's getting what it's getting into, it is easier for him is in danger to come into these things than to pass away, so basically what it's going into, that of course you're more it's going to be more better for you to see these things come to pass than to die, because you want to be able to go through these trials and see the coming of the Lord Yahushua coming, because that's a blessing to see that. Of course, it's not saying that the ones that die beforehand are not going to be of the elect. It's just saying the ones that it's a great thing to see these things. We want to get that in the GNT for edification's sake. Second Esdras chapter 13 and verse 20. Nevertheless, it is better to pass through these dangers and reach the end than to disappear like a cloud from this world and never see what takes place in the last days. So you want to be able to see what's taking place, like I was getting into. You want to see Yahushua coming. You want to endure through these trials and tribulations, through Jacob's trouble, to be able to see Yahushua come. Because that's what that's getting into. Yeah, it's better for you to pass through these dangers and reach unto the end than to die and not see him. Of course, the ones that die will be risen up, like in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, which goes into getting our bodies changed, like how it says 1 Corinthians 15. We shall in the twinkling of an eye, our bodies shall be changed. So because you want to, you could be living in your car in that time. It's going to be trials. Some will have to be in the wilderness, living in tents, just to see Yahushua come. You got to go through those trials, and that's why I'm saying it's greater for you to go through those things. Than to die. So verse 21. The interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. Verse 23, he that endure, so he that endure, right? So let's get that book of Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 24. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. But he that endured to the end, but he that endured unto the end, the same shall be saved. But they say that everybody's gonna be saved, right? No, it's only the elect, man. But that goes in with the 144,000 and that great multitude, man. But they try to tell you that all of that will endure to the end and get saved, because they'll say that they will get it in the second go around, which is not true. Like I was saying earlier, they're deceiving you, not giving you the full scoop, not giving you the full doctrine. They're leaving parts out. Come on. So this is so yeah, that's going into that endure right there in that verse 23. He that shall endure, what we just went into, endure to the end, shall be saved. The peril in that time had kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. So yeah, so they will be kept in that time. They have kept themselves. They will be kept from those trials and tribulations. They will be saved. The ones that have faith and works, through faith and works, he shall be saved. And then this is that precept, chapter 9, it gets into that as well, by faith and works, where he shall be saved, roughly paraphrasing. But also, that hath kept himself, what's going into it, also, you kept yourself because you're not of this world. So this is the book of James. Salakia. I'm gonna bring it out real quick. Con. So this is James chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 26. If a man among you seem to be religious and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. Yeah, that's to be separated from this world, man. You got to focus on Yahweh Shai, and also it's going into control that verse 6. So I get that verse 26. It's to control your mouth and watch what you say, man. But verse 27 is be unspotted from the world. Not to be of this world, man. Like Romans 12:2. We're not conformed of this world, man. Be not conformed of this world. Roughly paraphrasing. Con. Yeah, be not conformed to this world, man. That's what we don't want to be. We don't like how it says in Revelation chapter 12. They love not their lives unto death. That's why he had kept himself. He kept himself from this world, loving this world. Being in the lust. The lust of the flesh of this world. Like how it says in 1 John 2:15. I went into a lesson in that. Love not the world. Yahal Radazal, you check it out. So this is 1 John. It goes into this as well. This is 1 John chapter 5 verse 17. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. Verse 18. We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not, but he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and the wicked one toucheth him not. And we know that we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Yeah, we know that we are of God because the Spirit bear witness that we are the children of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And also, keepeth himself, and that the wicked one toucheth him not. We know that's going into Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Esau is known as the wicked, according to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. And we know the God of this world is Satan. So Esau, Edom's doing the works after Satan. He's building up Satan's kingdom by establishing this new world order, which is coming. Bringing all this lab meat, all this fake meat, and all this pseudo-science, having our people believe in these philosophies, like Wayne Brady, saying he's a pansexual, and Will.i.am saying that he's effeminate, and it's good to be effeminate. It's all part of that. It's all part of those philosophies, that doest thou wilt doctrine. Trying to push it on our people that whine to think it's okay to be doest thou wilt and to sin against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You know, that's how we keepeth ourselves, you know, by sinning not, being not of this world. You know, that's how Esau Edom, the wicked one, toucheth us not, man. Because we know this whole world lieth in wickedness, so we're not going to be of this world. You know, that's how in that verse 23 saying that they had kept themselves. You know, that's what the elect's going to do. They're not going to be of this world. Verse 24, know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. Yeah, Khan. So this is going into, you know, that those that are left behind are going to be more blessed, because like I was getting into, they're going to be able to see Yahushua come. They're going to be able to see all the trials and tribulations and experience it. You know, experience helps you, will get you to be more blessed, to be able to see Yahushua come. You're going to be able to see all this destruction happening, you know, and Khan, because you know, and you know that, like, that doesn't mean that the ones that die, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be of the elect. That's not true, because they'll be risen up, you know, like the just and the unjust will be risen up, you know, according to 1 Thessalonians 4:16, you know, after that trump, you know, from Daniel, Khan, you know, which also we were going into Daniel chapter 12, you know, so Khan, yeah, so like, yeah, that's what that's getting into, yeah, like, that they are going to be risen up, yeah, the resurrection of the dead, that's what we were getting into, you know, but this right here, this precept, like I said, you know, they are going to be more blessed than they that are dead, because they're going to be able to see Yahushua coming. They're going to be able to witness that, which is a great witness, you know, to see that. That's why I'm going into this, you know, because like it's like in basketball, LeBron, right? He what was his best championship when he got to go through that affliction and come back from that 3-1 deficit in Game 7 and beat the Warriors. You know, like when he swept OKC, that wasn't his best championship, because that was easy money. That was his hardest trial, coming back from a 3-1 deficit and beating them in Game 7, a team that had like a great record, you know, like one of the best records that the Warriors ever had that season, and they beat that team. You know, I can't remember the record off the top, but yeah, that was the best record they had for a regular season record for the Warriors. So come. So verse 26. Verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. And that, yeah, that's the game. That's what I was getting into, though. That's the game you would rather choose to be an affliction. You know, the Game 7, to get through those games and beat the Warriors. You know, like, because that's what we would rather want to do too as well. You know, see Yahushua come. We would rather want to go through that affliction and see Yahushua come. That's what that's getting into. Blessed are they that get to see it. So, verse 26. The same is he whom God the highest had kept. So I get verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom God is the highest kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. And that's Yahushua. He's going to order them that are left behind. You know, so that's going into that he's going to order the elect. You know, because that's going to be the ones that are left behind, the ones that have faith in works. You know, so in that time, you're going to have faith in works, man. You know, So I want to get that Matthew chapter 16. Matthew chapter 16. I'll start at verse 25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, You know, so you gotta you can't be you don't want to be willing to save your life in this world. That's why I said they had kept themselves, because they're not of this world. You know, because if you try to save your life in this world, you shall lose it. You know. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. So you want to be able to lose your life for Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's what the ones that die for this truth are going to be able to do, according to Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. Let me get that real quick. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them. Judgment was given unto them. And I saw souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years. So yeah, that's what if you die for this truth, according to the true doctrine, follow the true doctrine, you'll be of the elect with Yahweh Shai. You know, you will get your reward. Your works do follow you, as it says in the book of Revelation as well. So continuing on, from verse 26, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and shall lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give exchange for his soul? So that's what we see in these last days. The elites, you know, these celebrities as well. They gave their soul up for this world, you know. And it's no profit, because you're not going to make it into the kingdom. Verse 27, for the Son of Man shall come in glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. And like I was just getting into, like in Revelation, it says that as well. Every man will be judged according to his works and rewarded. You know, you'll be rewarded according to your works. Your works do follow you. Your labor is not in vain. Verse 28, verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And yeah, that's what that's getting into. The blessed are they that be able to see Yahweh Shai coming, roughly paraphrasing in 2 Ezra 13, what we brought out. You know, because they won't taste the death. They'll be able to see the Son of Man coming with his chariots, with his angels. You know, and they'll be able. The righteous shall scarcely be saved. So those are the righteous that will scarcely be saved in that time. So I want to get to 24 now. You know, because we're in the days of Noah right now. You know, this is the days of Noah. What's going on? Everybody is marrying and drinking, getting married in that mirth spirit, happy spirit, not caring. We tell them to repent. They don't want to listen. You know, and we're just getting the blood off our hands at the end of the day, because they don't want to listen to the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 37. But as the days of Noah were so shall the coming of the so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, even unto the day that Noah entered into the ark. So just as the days of Noah, they were doing this. This is what's going to be happening in these days, in these last days. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So yeah, a lot of people are going to be caught off guard. You know, like how it says in the book of Luke, it's going to come upon you unawares. You know, it's going to come as a thief in the night, as the scriptures say. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. You know, and it's going to be the same as the coming of the Son of Man be. You know, they knew not until the flood came. Verse 40, and then shall two be in the field. One shall be taken and the other left. Yeah, so that taken is joined unto something. That's what that's getting into. Two women shall be grinding at the mill. One shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord doth come. So we don't know the hour which the Lord is coming. You know, and like I said, you know, that taken is being joined unto something. So I'm gonna get that, line that up with the book of Luke. You know, as the carcasses shall be gathered. You know, so because that's what that's getting into. So this is Luke chapter 17, and start at verse 32. Remember Lot's wife. Yeah, we got to remember Lot's wife. You know, she looked back because she had the love of this world, like we was getting into, man. You know, she didn't keep herself. You know, and that's why everything was written for aforetime for our learning. You know, that's why we got to remember Lot's life, because she had abundances and you know, things there that she cared for. You know, she cared. That's why she looked back. She had the cares of that world, what she had on that world. Verse 33. Whatsoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. Whatsoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. I tell you, in the night there be two men in one bed. So yeah, that nighttime, because it could be nighttime over here, and around the world it could be daytime. You know, because it's all different time frames in the world. You know, and because we're gonna be you know, saved from the four corners of the earth. You know, and the other shall be left. Two women shall be grinding together, one shall be taken and the other left. Two men shall be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Yeah, like I was saying, that taken, you know, it's like that's what I was getting into, that taken. It's joined unto something, man. You know. Yeah, and I had to put the cover on this, you know, to cover that cross. You know, that goes into idolatry. God, Salaki, I just wanted to show it, you know. But yeah, like that taken unto is joined unto something, like I said in the book of Matthew. And verse 37, and they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered. Yes, so the body is taken and joined unto something, like I was saying, you know. That's why it's taken and joined unto something. You know, and that's what that's meaning. And, you know, also, you know, like, you know, thither will the eagles also, wherever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered. You know, that's going into, like, you know, getting into beamed up, you know, like it's going to deliver them, you know, it's going to be delivering them in the chariots, you know, where Yahweh Shai is going to be in the sky. You know, like in 2nd Esdras 13, we know that Yahweh Shai is going to have to fight against these armies with his elect, you know, in Khan. So yeah, it's getting beamed up in the sky, like I was saying, you know. It's going to be, that's what it's going to look like, you know, as eagles, as that flock, you know, how they're flying, that location, you know, getting beamed up. That's how it will look like. So Khan, you know, we want to have faith in these last days in that, you know, so I want to get it's the 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good being to put death by men, for to look for hope from God, to be raised up again by him. But as for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Yeah, because Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he's going to have no resurrection to life. You know, he's going, you know, Antiochus Epiphanes during this time was an Edomite. So we know this is talking about the Edomites. You know, and that's what that one, the brother was telling that Edomite that, you know, that it's good to be put to death by men, because we will be raised up by him. You know, that resurrection of the dead. He believed in the resurrection of the dead. And that's from the Old to the New, because this Apocrypha is the Old Testament, man. You know? It's a con. So this is I want to get I think it's verse. So I want to get verse 7. So when the first was dead after this manner, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the hair off the skin of his head, so yeah, they pulled off the skin of his head, you know, with the hair, and they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished, though throughout every member of the body? You know, that's being like scalped, you know. So we see Esau Edom, the so-called white man, you know, where we see that scalping came from, you know. Verse 8, but he answered in his own language, said, no, wherefore he also received the next torment in order as former did. So the second brother said no as well, as the first brother did. And when he was at last gasped, he said, though like a fury takest us out the presence of life, but the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. And the king of this world is Yahweh Shai. So they knew that they believed in Yahweh Shai will raise them up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. That whoever dies for Yahweh Shai will receive everlasting life. That's that resurrection of the dead, Hebrews chapter 6. They believed in Hebrews chapter 6. That's another example from the old to the new. You know? So come. So I'm going to get 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and start at verse, we could go at verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. So he was forced to eat swine's flesh during the time of Antiochus. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abominable, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment. So yeah, he spit it out, you know, God, because the Edomites were getting him to do this, man. So he spit out the swine in front of the Edomites. So he set the example. He was willing to die gloriously in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai than to live in abomination, you know. Because he knew that he wouldn't receive everlasting life or get raised up from the dead if he did that. Verse 20, as it was behoved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted, but they that had charge of the wicked feast for the old acquaintance, they had with the man taken him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, to make as if he did eat of the flesh taken with the sacrifice commanded by the king. So yeah, they were saying just to pretend that you're eating of the sacrifice, you know. So they would switch it out, you know, that they would bring other food like chicken, saying, come on, just eat this and be a part of the feast, be in the presence, to make it seem like that you are, to pretend. You know, to pretend that he's of that feast, you know. And this is a perfect example to not ever, you know, eat of a plate of Thanksgiving or be a part of that feast, man. That in so doing he might be delivered from death and from old friendship with them that favor him. So yeah, they were trying to get him to do it, you know, to put a stumbling block to Israel, because that would cause other people to fall, you know. Verse 23, he began to consider discreetly as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of the gray head, whereunto was come, and his most honest education from a child, and rather the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. So yeah, he refused it, and he would rather die for this, you know, according to the holy law, you know, that you know, he learned from a child. He had that education from a child. Verse 24, for it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar being 80 old, and 10 were now gone to a strange religion. So yeah, like I was saying, it would have had the other people of Israel, to put a stumbling block before his brother. Like how it says in Romans chapter 14 and 13, not to do that. So that's what would have happened if you would have done the ways of the heathen. So Khan. So I'm gonna go down to verse 2. So yeah, I'll continue on verse 25. And so they, through mine hypocrisy, desired to live a little time, a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. For though for a present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. So either way he couldn't escape. So he knew to follow the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, because Yahweh Shai wasn't going to extend his life. Like Jeremiah 2 and 33, it says, why trimmest thou way to seek love? He wasn't willing to do that, Khan. Just like that's why we don't prep as well. Only unbelievers prep. I want to get that verse in the GNT real quick. So this is 2 Maccabees chapter 6. Chapter 6 in verse 25. If I pretended to eat this meal just to live a little while longer, it would bring shame and disgrace on me and lead many young people astray. That's what he didn't want to do, like we were getting into. He didn't want to lead people astray. He wanted to be the example, man. Like that's what when I read on it, he didn't want to be ashamed and a disgrace, and he didn't want to pretend to eat that meat like we were getting into. He didn't want to pretend to do that. That's not living a true life. That's being false. So Khan. So I'm gonna go down to. So I'm going to read verse 27. Wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself such as one as mine age requireth, and as a notable example to such as beats young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. And they that led him changing the good, they would bear him a little before into hatred, because the aforesaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. A desperate mind also goes into a madness or pride mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that had the holy knowledge, whereas I might be delivered from death. Now I endure sore pains in body by being beaten, but in soul I am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. So because he feared Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and he knew the holy laws, he was able to go through those stripes and get beaten. Yahushai had to go through the stripes, a rod of men as well. And that's how we know that in 2 Samuel 7, it was talking about Yahushai. And this was an example that he knew that he would be delivered from death. Because just like how the 7 brothers and the mother in the next chapter, they believed in resurrection, so did he, because he set the example, and he feared Yahushai. That's why we all need to fear Yahushai in these last days. And thus, verse 31, thus said this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. Yeah, so unto all the nation of the 12 tribes of Israel, he left an example, that Romans 15 and 4, for everything was written was for a foretime for our learning. So we know that You know, just like how Razis, he died for the law as well. You know, so this is more examples of our forefathers dying for the truth. You know, like I said, strive for the truth unto death, and he shall fight for thee. You know, and that's how this is another example of resurrection of the dead. You know, from the old to the new. That they died knowing that they would be resurrected. So Khan, you know, you got to have that faith in these last days. You know, so this is, I want to get this as a book of Psalms, chapter 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So yeah, we want to dwell within the secret place of the Most High, you know. That's how we're going to abide in the shadow of the Almighty. You know, because we have that hedge, you know, because we have that holy comforter. We follow the true doctrine. We got baptized in his name, and we're enduring to the end, hoping that we shall be saved, Yahweh Radazah. And that's how we will be under the shadow of the Most High, the shadow of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Verse 2, and I will say of the Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him I will trust. So we need to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in these last days. You know, this is Psalms. Get that Psalms real quick, because we need to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, like that Isaiah goes into it too, chapter 12. This is a good one. Psalms chapter 25, verse 2. Oh my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not my enemies triumph over me. Yeah, we don't want our enemies to triumph over us. That's why we have to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai by works and faith. You know? So verse 3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilences. So yeah, Esau, you know, he's going to come with the snare of the fowler, man. He's going to come with that famine, the pestilence, the sword. He's going to come with all this. You know, that fowler, it's a bait trap, man. That's what that's getting into. Come on. Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Yeah, because we only fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, like how Eleazar did. You know, like what I just read. We only fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We don't fear what's coming in this world. Now, nor for the pestilence that is walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall by thy side, 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. See, yeah, it's not gonna come to us, you know. So, we won't fall to that. Verse 8. Only with thine eyes shall behold and see the reward of the wicked. Yeah, so you know, like I read it in Second Esdras chapter 2. You know, we're gonna see that wicked, and that's what it was going into that Second Esdras 13 as well. We were seeing that the reward of the wicked. Blessed are they who get to see the reward of the wicked and see Yahweh shall come and save us from our enemies. How it says in Luke chapter 1. You know, Psalms 83. So we will be able to see those wicked go down, which also goes to the 2/3. Because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. So no plague is going to come onto us, being under Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. So yeah, he's going to give his angels to charge over thee, you know, to keep us safe in that time. You know, let me back that up with this Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 34 and verse 7. The angel of Yahweh campeth around about them that fear him and delivereth him. So yeah, ultimately that angel is going to be Yahweh Shai. You know, that's going to save us, you know. But right now we have angels encamping around us, you know, that because we fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So they will deliver us in that time of calamity, man. Khan. You know, that's why his angels shall charge over thee and keep thee in all thy ways, because they're going to protect us. They're going to watch over us. You know? Khan. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder and the young lion, and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Psalms 91 verse 14. Because he has set love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he had known my name. Yeah, and that's why we need to know the true names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And we need to set our love upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. He shall call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. And that's what we're looking for, is that salvation, man. You know, because a lot of people are going to die, you know. Like Revelation 14, it says that blood unto the horse is brittle. You know, that's going into a lot of death is going to be in these during these last days when in the coming of Yahweh Shai, man. You know, the ICBM missiles and the chariots. We're going to have that fire coming out of it. You know? So we want that salvation through Yahweh Shai, man. You know? Because he will answer us when we call upon him in trouble. You know? Because like Proverbs 1, he's not going to answer everybody who call upon him. You know? Come on. So Psalms. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 15. And call upon me in the day of trouble, I will deliver thee, thou shalt glorify me. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to call on Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai in the day of trouble, man. You know, and also there's a lot of precepts pertaining to this. You know, like I want to get Job. Job went into this as well. You know, this is Job. This is Job. Chapter 12. This is Job chapter 12 and verse 4. I am as mocked of his neighbor who calleth upon God, and he answereth him. The just upright man is laughed to scorn. See, let me get in the NLT for edification. Say, yet my friends laugh at me. I am a man who calls on Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and receives an answer. I am just and blameless, man. And yet they laugh at me. So yet they laugh and scorn. We're going to call upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai regardless, and he's going to answer in the time of trouble, in the time of calamity. That's why we got to have our faith and works unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, because he's going to call upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to be the one to save us in these last days.
Thank you, boss. Appreciate it.
Yep. You already know. Hey, if you want to hear more on it, let me know. Because the water baptism is what's going to save us in the name of Yahweh Shai in these last days. You know? And enduring to the end, like what I got into. He that endured to the end shall be saved. But I'm going to wrap this up. You know, I got called into the plantation on the Shabbat. You know, Salaki about that. So this is Yahweh Radazah. This was edifying, you know, keep fighting the good fight of faith, you know, trying to hold on to eternal life, you know, like what Paul said, you know, we're all seeking that, we all have that same penny, you know, so we're all working for that same goal, to make it into the kingdom with our brethren and the Akwath, Yahweh Radazah. We have that number, you know, because time's running out, you know, just like at the days of Noah. That when he was preaching to the people and they didn't want to listen, you know, and then when that ark closed, you know, that grace period was over. So that's why we got to be mindful to that, to come to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, he told me thank you, boss, but that's not enough to get into the kingdom. You know, you got to be able to want to hear this. You got to be able to want to know what salvation is and what are the keys to salvation. What are the ways to get it? And I would have told him if he would have asked. And that's why I tried to holler at him and he just kept going. You know, so, hey, who knows, Yahweh Radazah, he'll come back and want to hear it. You know, this is Matthew 26. Man's goings are the way of the Lord, you know. So I came here for a reason. You know, I'm right here preaching this word for a reason at this spot. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 6. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman had done be told for a memorial of her. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Peace, salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning and teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom.